under President Trump, I don't care if you give him American jets, okay? I don't. Because Putin knows we'd crush him if Vladimir Putin escalated anything with President Trump in office. But under Joe Biden, see, I don't want any escalation. Because I believe Biden, as commander-in-chief, is the real threat to our troops and America. And the sad reality is, Russia knows it. So joining me now is Newsmax senior national security analyst, former acting director of national intelligence and former U.S. ambassador to Germany. Rick Grenell is here. Ambassador, good to have you back on the show.
Grant, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
So let me ask you about these jets. Look, give them, don't give them, I don't know, but I don't think they're the silver bullet that everybody's saying the war is going to be won. All of a sudden they get these old, outdated MiG fighter planes.
Yeah, I agree. I think the timeliness of when we give is more important. Certainly Zelensky's been asking for a long time. There has been warning signs for a possible war coming for weeks and months, specifically from Joe Biden's mouth. He's been telling us that there's a bloody war coming around the corner. And yet we didn't do what we should have been doing diplomatically. I have a slightly different view. It seems like all of America is just talking about the Pentagon and the Pentagon options, but I want to know why Anthony Blinken has a plane that's sitting in Washington, D.C. Why isn't he flying around Europe trying to solve these problems? Look, official Washington is just caught into this crisis after crisis cylinder where all they ever do is look to the Pentagon and boots on the ground and military options. I think that if you really want to solve problems, then you better have diplomats who know how to use muscle and not mock those diplomats who use muscle. We heard all sorts of mocking from the left that Donald Trump was too mean or too tough, that his diplomats were too mean and too tough. And now I think it's obvious to everybody that if Donald Trump were in the White House, we would not be having this war in Ukraine.
Rick, President Trump could send you and other diplomats across the world and negotiate deals and get them done and keep peace because they knew the president was serious when he says, if you don't believe me, I'm going to bomb you. And he did in many cases, Syria included. I think the cat's out of the bag with Joe Biden. Nobody believes him. Nobody believes he has any strength. So if you send those diplomats, do they even have any teeth behind them waiting?
I mean, it's a really good point, and what you're alluding to is the difference between a threat of military action and a credible threat of military action. And we always use the word credible because you have to make sure that your enemies and others believe that there's a credible threat. Once, Grant, I heard a leader in Europe tell me that one of the problems they had with Donald Trump was they just couldn't figure out what he was going to do next, and it really bothered them. And I remember thinking at the time, that's exactly where U.S. policy is supposed to be. We are supposed to be where the President of the United States gets to utilize the tools of government and no one knows exactly what he's going to do. But we right now have a president who keeps articulating exactly what he's going to do. He told the Afghans when he was pulling out, told the Taliban when he was pulling out, and everybody knows the story of Donald Trump calling the Taliban leader and saying in no uncertain terms, you will be blown away if you even threaten Americans. And that Taliban leader responded by telling President Trump, I hear you, we are not threatening, we have pulled back. And he went on to describe all the ways in which they were pulling back. That's the type of credible threat of military action. And I just want to finish by saying, Donald Trump also didn't start any new wars. He brought our troops home. He got our allies to do more. That's what America First means. America First means not just putting Americans first, but having our diplomats describe to the rest of the world why, when you put America first, it's better for them. We are a moral nation. We put the rule of law, human rights, democracy, capitalism, all of that first. I trust us more than other people. And I think that's the difference between many Republicans and Democrats. Democrats continue to try to tear down this country, while Republicans want to talk about all the great things. Talk to any first and second generation American about how great this country is, and you'll hear a whole bunch of things of how they left totalitarianism and they're embracing this country.
You know I'm right there with you, Rick Grenell. A strong America leads to a more peaceful world, and that's an absolute fact. And sadly, we're very weak under Joe Biden. It's great having you on. I know you've sat in the Oval Office to advise President Trump and others, and having you on this program is a great pleasure. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on.
All the best. Thanks, Grant.